Well, let's bring in Oakland's Mayor Barbara Lee. Congratulations on your first 100 days in office. So we appreciate you being here. We just heard from the governor touting some of the efforts to fight crime in places like Oakland with the CHP. So that has worked.
That's worked, and it's working. And I really thank the governor and the state of California for assisting Oakland. And this is what needs to happen, these partnerships. We have partnerships with the county and with the governor and with Caltrans on so many issues, on homelessness, on trash removal, on housing. And these are the kind of partnerships that make sense. We see that the crime rates are going down. That's because of the partnership between the Department of Violence Prevention, Ceasefire, and our police department. We still have a lot of work to do, though. People still need to feel safe and need to be safe.
Yeah.
And so we have strategies to move forward to make sure that our public safety continues on this downward trajectory, recognizing we have, the crime rate on this downward trajectory, recognizing we have a heck of a lot to do.
Yes, and so I want to contrast then, the president's proposal to send in guard troops to Oakland. If we need help, why not get help from the feds? You're talking about partnerships.
Why not get help from the feds? First of all, we do not need a military occupation of our cities. Secondly, we know that what he is trying to do is to try to provoke chaos, and we're not going to let that happen. We know that he wants to allow ICE to come in to deport immigrants. We're not going to let that happen. We're pushing back very hard, and we have our plan in place, but we recognize the president is just not telling the truth about Oakland and about these cities. When you look at what is taking place in the cities, what about those cities that the governor laid out? I mean, come on, we know what this is about, and we're not going to let him provoke any kind of activity or chaos that would allow him to come in and occupy our city.
Now, you've mentioned that he doesn't understand Oakland. What is it about Oakland he needs to understand?
He needs to understand and tell the truth about Oakland, first of all, and we're telling the truth. The crime rate is coming down. We need help for housing, for our Department of Violence Prevention. This big, ugly bill that he signed into law takes away health care from our districts, from our residents. We need help with workforce training. The tariffs that he has created havoc with our port with, we need that kind of help from the federal government to make life better for everyone.
So you're saying
not a military occupation.
The kind of help he's offering is not something that fits with what Oakland needs right now?
No, it does not. And we are definitely telling the truth about what we need, not allow him to tell lies about Oakland.
And of course, there's plenty of video when it comes to showing chaos in the streets of Oakland, sideshows particularly. I know a lot of residents are fed up with that. You've made several arrests now following some of these vehicles back to other cities. Where does that stand, though, for neighbors who say that they're just not safe on their own streets?
Look, I'm a resident, and I'm angry. And believe you me, we are working very hard to stop these sideshows. First of all, the budget did not allow for sideshow patrols last year, and we finally were able this year to put investments into special patrols and special operations for sideshows. Secondly, when you look at the sideshows and the people who are committing these crimes, 80% of them are from outside of Oakland. And so we're cracking down hard on towing cars, on citing people, on arresting people, and we have a lot of work regionally to do, which the governor has laid out in terms of regional cooperation. So we're not turning our heads to this. We're not putting our head in the sand. We're working really hard, believe you me. And our police officers are working hard. Our neighborhoods are feeling the tension and the trauma around this. And so this is extremely important for myself personally, because I know what chaos and what fear sideshows bring to communities, and so we have to work to get this done. Also, finally, I'll just say we have a lot of infrastructure issues with regard to streets. Sometimes in communities, sideshows are prevented from occurring by having certain infrastructure built.
Things like higher curbs, roundabouts, things like that. Yes, that neighbors have been calling for.
Yeah, so we've got all hands on deck.
Speaking of, I want to talk about your homeless plan. You've recently unveiled that, a 5-point plan. We've heard these strategies before, though. Why do you think they're going to work this time?
Well, you haven't heard them from Oakland before. We have now an Office of Homelessness Solutions, which will be right in the city administrator's office and fully staffed. That's the first thing. it's a priority in the city. That's the second thing. And we have a new strategy where we have anti-displacement, helping before people become homeless, first of all. Secondly, a strategy for shelters, transitional housing, also for permanent housing. And we have to build out permanent housing. We don't have enough housing, affordable nor deeply affordable.
Right, so you're saying the coordination here is going to be the difference?
Well, the coordination and the strategy, because we have new ways to do this, and it's not going to be easy. But when you look at other cities, I'm looking at pilots. For instance, in Portland, Oregon, there's a program called Glitter. People who are unsheltered are hired to clean up trash and to address encampment policies and what have you in blight. And so 70% of the people in that program who need the services, the case management, mental health services, drug rehab, 70% of them find permanent housing. And why? That's because they have a job. And so helping people with financial resources on the front end helps reduce homelessness.
Okay, we would certainly love to see some progress in that. And you got to give me one hot take before we go. 3 decades in Congress, all of a sudden into Oakland City Hall. Do you have any regrets, any thoughts on that transition?
No, I love it. And let me tell you, what is hard to realize is that every Sunday evening, I don't have to get ready to get on that plane to go back to D.C. I did that for 27 years. I was in Oakland 3 days a week, Washington, D.C. 4 days a week, back and forth, and worked on the weekends when I was here. So that's great. And to be with people each and every day in this great city, the residents are wonderful.
Yeah, a different climate. All right, well, welcome home, Mayor Lee, and we look forward to talking more as you add more days to your tenure.
Thank you very much. Good to be with you.